Dear listener, you're hearing this disclaimer either because it's still soon after the release of this video, or because people in the comments have been dumb enough to warrant its reinstatement. The following video contains spoilers for the Avatar: The Last Airbender TV show and the Legend of Spyro trilogy of video games. This was done with the specific intent of highlighting a few similarities that, if misconstrued in certain ways, could be indicative of one ripping off the other. The video intends to use this premise to build a platform upon which to encourage the listener to indulge in whatever passion projects they may have, regardless of any perceived similarity to other properties. As long as it's not, actually stolen, because in that case, you might have a problem on your hands. Also, just in case it wasn't clear, this video is very much a joke and should be taken as such. I wish you a pleasant listening experience.
So there's been quite a lot of talk recently about people confusing one animated thing for another. Something about blue aliens and learning to use water to their advantage or something, I don't know. And while I will admit that naming those two different animated things the exact same thing is more confusing than absolutely necessary, I think people are focusing on the wrong ripoff, because while they do share a name, at least that's where the similarities end. Get out your pitchforks, everyone, because this is gonna be ugly. Allow me to set the stage.
The year is 2007.
Well, give or take about a year anyway. The 7th generation of consoles has just become a thing, the economy hasn't collapsed yet, or at least nobody knows about it, and Russia isn't invading Ukraine yet. Because they're busy invading Georgia. And in the world of entertainment media, this is also where, seemingly independent of each other, two separate trilogies exist, following a set of characters most notably consisting of a 12-year-old, their love interest, and a comic relief on their journey to defeat ultimate evil. I know, so far so standard fantasy tropes, but by the end of this video, I will have you question reality as we know it. Oh, and I should probably mention what I'm actually talking about, which in this case is, what the fuck? Tell you what, you are on point with the censoring in these videos. You deserve a raise, good sir. I should probably catch people up in case someone has no idea what either of these are. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a 2005 through 2008 animated TV show in which Aang, a 12-year-old chosen one, with some help from primarily his love interest and a comedy sidekick, set out to defeat the evil baddies. On his journey, he must learn to master all four elements and the elusive Avatar state, which basically causes all evil baddies in a 1,000-foot radius to think twice and run home to their mummies. It also has some nonsense about the balance between good and evil and how the Avatar is the ultimate balance in all of this. Meanwhile, The Legend of Spyro is a 2006 through 2008 trilogy of video games in which Spyro, who I was gonna presume to be 12 years old solely because it fit the narrative this early in the video, and I could probably pack it up with all the Year of the Dragon nonsense we spent the first 5 games not really sure if we wanted that to be a thing or not, only to discover that official merchandise for the second game just goes and drops the ball, and Spyro's canon age is actually just 12. Ha! I win again! Is joined by a love interest and a comedy sidekick in his journey to defeat the evil baddies. On his journey, he must learn to master all four elements and the elusive ether, which basically causes all the evil baddies in a 1,000-foot radius to think twice about not being tiny little heart-shaped gem pieces. It also has some nonsense about the balance between good and evil and how the purple dragon is the ultimate balance in all of this. 2 different stories about a 12-year-old chosen one mastering 4 elements in some all-powerful mystical thing before facing off against unprecedented evil? Suspicious. And I guess the whole battle against evil thing is a good enough segue into talking about the whole 4 elements thing. Shared between the two are the elements of fire and earth, and the fact that Kevin Michael Richardson, who previously managed to play an evil blue-eyed alien twice in the same year in 2 completely unrelated projects, is affiliated with the latter. Side note, I swear on all that is holy, this man is not just in the Illuminati. He runs it. They differ a little in that Spyro has ice rather than water. The water breath was a thing in A Hero's Tale, was supposed to have been a thing in this trilogy, and given some of the things we see happen throughout these games, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that bloodbending is a thing. Basically what I'm saying is that the water element is all but canon regardless. Spyro also has electricity as its own element rather than just fire 2.0, and I mean, both kinda work. I mean, both of them are used to heat up houses, send signals, and heat up houses. There's also the thing where only the Avatar can master all 4 elements, and the purple dragon likewise. Let's just ignore how the 3rd game, for reasons of co-op Spyro game, which automatically bumps it up a few places in the overall ranking, gives Cinder, who in addition to being broken, is voiced by Mae Whitman, aka Katara in the 2nd game, 4 elements to play with, one of which is actually just straight up wind, aka basically the air element Spyro is missing. Early in the 1st game, we're also introduced to the character Ignitus, an elderly red dragon who's a master of the fire element, who fought in a war and takes on the role of father figure for Spyro. If that sounds a little bit like a discount Uncle Iroh but voiced by Gary Oldman, that's because that's exactly what it is. Congratulations! You too will no longer be able to play these games without imagining how much more awesome a character Ignitus would have been if he'd been a little more Uncle Iroh. I'm thinking his sacrifice in Dawn of the Dragon is him being there for Spyro when he couldn't for his own child who was killed in the war mentioned in the first game, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess we can all have headcanons about Pyra. You know, the banner bearer who is seen in literally one piece of artwork throughout the games but has a far too involved backstory according to Jared Pullen.
But it's not the same.
Speaking of character crossover, the ultimate big bad in both trilogies is voiced by Mark Hamill, even if you can't tell in Spyro, and both have a weird ideal that involves the entire world being on fire. There's a Mark Hamill just wants to watch the world burn joke in there somewhere. A final confrontation with an antagonist voiced by Mark Hamill after a noble sacrifice by the fire-aligned mentor character? Yeah, though, sorry Spyro, Atla did it first, by about 3 months. And this ripping off extends beyond just the characters. We haven't even begun talking about the world building just yet. This also has some good stuff, like fighting grass and vine monsters in a swamp, the dragon temple basically being an air temple. If they had a 100-foot statue of Ozai, yes, but still. To the point where the dragons are basically monks. The whole secret tunnel into and out of occupied cities thing, and of course, an ongoing war between good and evil that's raging right outside the city of Warfang. Can you say Ba Sing Se? I mean, both even have a freaky turtle monster that helps the Chosen One protagonist. So we can agree that these two are pretty much the same, right? Well, maybe. If you're being as incredibly reductive as I was, you might make it seem like that. The more astute viewers, yup, that's right, viewers, plural, because if my last video is anything to go by, the Legend of Spyro fan base is so starved for attention that they'll gladly latch onto me, may have noticed that I've made a passing reference or two to a certain YMS video, because I kinda want to bring up a few of the same points with regards to this controversy that I literally thought up in the shower one day. I have been incredibly selective with the points I bring forward, specifically choosing plots and details to make the two series seem far more similar than they actually are. Can I confidently say that there wasn't some element of cross-inspiration? No. Does anyone ultimately care if there's an overlap that's either inspiration or coincidence? Also no. Am I 100% convinced that Kevin Michael Richardson is a member of the Illuminati? Absolutely, positively, yes. I'm coming for you, Kevin. When you least expect it. Better lock those windows tight tonight. The moral of this video is this. That little world-building project you've got locked away in some hidden recess of your mind, make it a thing, you coward. As long as you're not knowingly stealing the whole thing, there's nothing wrong with taking inspiration. And guess what? Even if you insist on trying to be original, there's been so many continuities created by so many people, there's a non-zero chance someone's come up with something similar entirely independent to you. For the perfect example of this, see the whole Concerto Cat and Rhapsody Rabbit thing. Who knows? Better question, who cares? As long as you don't write either a queer character or a pregnant woman getting an abortion, in which case the right suddenly cares a lot. That's right, twice now have I managed to use the Spyro games as a premise to take a dig at the conservatives. Some might say I'm on fire. And just in case all this talk about how your world won't build itself has got you amped up, but you don't know where to begin or how to organize your project, you should consider signing up to the awesome service provided by this video's sponsor. It's nobody. Yeah, I don't have the sponsorship. I mean, what did you expect? I was gonna make a joke here about how I only have one subscriber for every one of these Aston Martins produced, but thanks to the Cinder video, I can't even do that. Besides, I do these things for personal entertainment. You think your boy would sell out like that? That's a fucking chance fatter than me. Aw, dicks, I did it again with the no swear rule. Shit!
Had I but known that all it would take would be your miserable amity for Cinder.
What's amity?
Get it? Because in The Eternal Night, Cinder is voiced by Mae Whitman, who, in addition to Katara from Avatar, also voices Amity Blight in The Owl House. I'm so funny. Please like, comment, and subscribe!